Adam Montgomery, the New Hampshire father accused of taking the life of his daughter, his 5-year-old daughter, Harmony Montgomery, was found guilty of second-degree murder this morning, about 15 minutes ago, on Thursday, February 22nd. Montgomery was also found guilty of other charges, including falsifying evidence and witness tampering. Jurors deliberated for about 7 hours after getting the case on Wednesday, and they asked the judge one question this morning about the legal definition of the word recklessly. Montgomery was not in the courtroom when the verdict was read. He chose not to be in the courtroom for the entirety of this trial. Harmony's birth mother, Crystal Sorey, and her foster mother, Michelle Raftery, were both present in the courtroom when the verdict was read. I'm Collier Landry. Let's get into it.
Testimony continued today in the most notorious criminal trial in...
When I was 12 years old, my testimony sent my father to prison for murdering my mother. I decided at an early age that our trauma should not be what defines us. It's what we choose to do with it that does. I'm here to share my unique perspective on true crime, mental health, society, and popular culture, albeit with a slight sense of humor. I'm Collier Landry, and welcome to my show. Mover Nation, thank you for tuning in to a special, I don't know how special it is, but a live, so the verdict was reached in the Adam Montgomery case about 25 minutes ago. We're going to play that verdict here in 1 second. I want to share it with you guys. But yeah, this case was, I tried to stay away from this because it was so, I don't have children, but I was a child and a child victim, and I just, it doesn't sit well with me. But I'm glad that justice was found, that there's justice for Harmony Montgomery. But we're going to get into it. Let me play the actual verdict being read in the trial, and we can discuss. If it takes it, if it actually, come on.
You may be seated.
Okay, here's the jury.
Would the foreperson please rise? Mr. Foreperson, it's the court's understanding that the jury has reached a verdict in this matter.
That's correct.
As to charge ID 1937947C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of second-degree assault, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson?
That is correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
As to charge ID 2027112C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of second-degree murder, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson?
That is correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
And as to charge ID 2027113C, charging the defendant with the crime of falsifying physical evidence, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson?
That's correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
And on charge ID 2027114C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of abuse of corpse, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson.
That's correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Yes.
And on charge ID 2027115C, charging the defendant, Adam Montgomery, with the crime of tampering with witnesses and informants, do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
You say that he's guilty, Mr. Foreperson.
That's correct.
So say you all, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I want to thank you for your service. You've performed an important civic duty, and that is as to the alternates as well as all the deliberating jurors. What we're going to do now is I'm going to send you back into the deliberation room. The alternates are going to be able to go back now with you. You can discuss the case with each other, so it's an opportunity for you to do that. I'm going to take a few minutes with the lawyers here, and then I will come in to discuss a couple of other matters with you further, and then you'll be released from your service. All right? Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. All rise for the jurors, please.
So the jurors were thanked for their service, and this is not an easy trial, I'm sure, for anyone to sit through, to listen to this. This guy, oh, look, Ian Zev is here to weigh in. Welcome, Ian. Ian says defense should have been requested or have requested the jury be polled on the record. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know about that, but Ian, thank you for your comments. Appreciate that. Weighing in with his legal expertise turned financed baron is Ian Zeb, channel member. Yeah, this is a tough one. I can't imagine sitting on this jury and having to listen to all of this. Look, he was pretty wanton in his and callous in the way that he dealt with all of this, even quoted, I believe, as saying that the FBI should just give up finding Harmony's body because they will never find it. Just a horrible, terrible guy. Let's get into a quick note from our sponsor, and we'll get back into it. So, hey, movers, I want to tell you guys about today's video sponsor, and that's Aura. Now, Aura is not just another identity protection service. It's really like your all-in-one solution for safeguarding your digital life. They do the heavy lifting by scouring the internet to find and delete your publicly available information. There's no more chasing down websites or managing different services. Aura has it all in one secure platform. And you know what else? They offer credit monitoring. They keep an eye out on your credit, ensuring your phone number isn't being handed out to those annoying robocallers. They start sending you alerts and emails notifying you when someone is poking around in your personal information or when your phone number is being searched. And the best part is you get to decide what stays public and what gets deleted. I've tried all the various identity protection and credit monitoring services, but it's Aura's streamlined platform that sets it apart. It's user-friendly, it's customizable, and most importantly, it's secure because all of your information is stored in an encrypted vault under your control. And here's the cool part for you, my awesome audience. Aura is offering a 2-week free trial. Just click the link in my description below or visit aura.com/callyourlandry and take back control of your digital life today with Aura. Great note from our sponsor, Aura. Thank you so much for Aura for sponsoring this program. Fabulous product. I've been enjoying it a lot and trying to pin a comment here for you guys. Yeah, this is tough stuff. So let's get into some of the facts of what was brought out in court. And thank you so much, Becky Grandstein. I appreciate that. I appreciate you like my approach. And Lena Beautiful, we did prune off some of the mods because we had so many mods in the chats, but I'm happy to bring you back if you're interested in being a moderator. So please, I will put your wrench back on there for you. We just had a lot of people that weren't active, and then when they all showed up, it looked like it was just a mod channel. Welcome, Dom's mom. How are you? This is total impromptu live today, but let's get into, okay, so here's a little bit of background on this, and we're going to get into it. So Adam Montgomery was a New Hampshire father who was accused of taking the life of his daughter, 5-year-old Harmony Montgomery. This has been an ongoing sort of thing in the true crime world for the last year. It is absolutely just terrible. And if you look at the little girl, I mean, she's just so cute and sweet. I mean, who could do this to a child? And unfortunately, like many cases that we're covering right now, there's been no body found. He is even quoted as saying something as careless as, the FBI should stop trying to find her body because they're never going to find it. Really, really horrific stuff. I did not watch any of this trial. This stuff hits a little too close to home for me. I don't like violence perpetrated against children. I don't think I don't stand for it myself. So it can be really, really challenging for anyone who serves on a jury to be faced with these facts. But the jurors did deliberate since yesterday, total of 7 hours, and came back straight away with guilty on all those counts, including obviously second-degree murder, second-degree assault, falsifying physical evidence, abuse of a corpse, and witness tampering. Abuse of a corpse, There was something that my father was found guilty of because he buried my mother underneath the basement of his house in another state. So yeah, that's an interesting charge. Always, whenever it comes up, it's very close to home for sure, as is the murder charge. So Harmony's birth mother, Crystal Sorey, and her foster mother, Michelle Raftery, were in the courtroom when it was read. They had a few things to say. They because Adam Montgomery has not been present during the entire trial. He literally showed up for the jury, for jury selection, and then that's it. And she is quoted as saying, he's a coward. He's a coward, and he's always been a coward. That's why he did what he did. He took her away from the people that loved her because he couldn't hack that he didn't have control. That's all he cared about, control. Everything in his life. She wasn't anything to him, unquote. Sorey said she plans to be in court. Well, she was in court when she was sentenced. That was a quote she gave a couple of days ago. She said, I hope that that what he did plays over and over in his mind every single waking moment that he lives on this earth. And I hope that he never falls asleep without seeing her beautiful face. Now, this verdict had come after 2 weeks of obviously emotionally just grueling testimony, hearing about this. And this is a very bad guy who hopefully will never see the light of day. In the opening statements, the prosecutor had presented a lot of gruesome details because, Harmony had disappeared in 2019. And one of the things that they accused Adam Montgomery of is moving her body from place to place. And, obviously her body's never been found. She disappeared in 2019. And the prosecutor was quoted as saying she was a daughter, she was a sister, and she was a Minnie Mouse fan. She was a fun-loving girl that loved being a big sister. She was just 5 years old when the defendant brutally murdered her. And obviously this was the most serious charge was this second-degree murder charge, but also the assault and the abuse of a corpse and the witness tampering. I mean, all this stuff is very, very bad. Prosecutors had said that Harmony, when she was killed, he had beat her while driving because she had a bathroom accident. I think that a lot needs to be said that this was just not a loving father. This was not a person who wanted children. This was a person who, I see a lot of this, in behavior with my own father, being a psychopath. Someone who just has no connection to any other human being other than their own selfish purpose on what that human being serves for them, and what people have accurately assessed is that he was a control freak, and that Harmony was a mechanism of control for him, and because he couldn't control it, she was just expendable. My mother was also a mechanism of control for my father, and when my mother disagreed with anything that he said, he obviously, when she wanted a divorce and she put her foot down, he obviously took her life. Similar patterns of behavior, and unfortunately, when they say, I hope he'll see her face in his mind over and over again when he goes to sleep, that's probably not possible because this is somebody who doesn't have a human connection. She doesn't serve a purpose to him anymore, the child. So therefore, she's not she's not something he cared about or loved. She was expendable. You see the same behavior within, and look, guys, I am not a lawyer. I am not a psychologist. I do not work in law enforcement. I'm just a guy who's been through a lot of shit. But this is what I know about these people, having dealt with one who is my own flesh and blood. Everyone is just a pawn in their game and expendable. And when they serve no more purpose, they literally serve no more purpose in their life. There's no compassion. There's a lot of crocodile tears, and a lot of, oh, I feel sorry, but it all diverts back to them. One of the things that my father was always lamenting about is being in prison and suffering thoughts of self-harm and things of that nature. But it was all about him. It was all about his experience and him being incarcerated, not because of what he did. I imagine that the same thing is going to go through Adam Montgomery's mind, if anything at all. Some of the stuff that he said, he said, and they played in court, an audio prison call from 2022 where Montgomery tells a friend, quote, "They had the FBI and everyone there digging up the river, dude. They wasted their time. Like, way to just waste taxpayers' money, I guess." The prison conversation was heard just as the court had wrapped up the ongoing cases proceedings for the day on Wednesday. That was yesterday. The jury obviously deliberated. So I'm taking this from a few of these notes here. Something is going on with the actual. Oh, thank you so much. Membership. A new member. Who is our new member? Galen. Thank you so much for joining. Mover Nation welcomes you. Thank you very much. Don't forget, guys, live this Sunday, February 25th, our live members only, Patreon only, YouTube members only, live meet and greet that we do on Google Meet. We all get to meet and talk and interact. It's super fun. Please check it out. You guys will love it. Sorry, I've had little beeps and everything. This was a very impromptu live today, by the way, guys. But thank you all for joining and participating and showing up on the channel. I'm reading this article that is from the Daily Mail, which says, "Enraged Titan Adam Montgomery is heard in a jailhouse call saying FBI agents searching for his child are wasting their time." So some of this evidence that was presented, there's so many ads on this stuff. So the prosecutors had alleged in their case that he had spent 3 months moving the body from location to location in an effort to keep her hidden from the police. According to the report in earlier hearings, prosecutors alleged that the evil accused child killer, I love how they add some hyperbole to this well, it's not really hyperbole, I guess it is true. Accused child killer, they add this to their articles. The body from container to container and place to place as her body decayed. The locations including the trunk of a friend's car, a cooler in the hallway of his mother-in-law's apartment building, the ceiling vent of a homeless shelter, and an apartment freezer. Again, this is someone who has absolutely no connection to the life that he took or the life of any of other. Everything is all there to suit their needs and to be consumed. They're like a velociraptor. Not that we've ever seen velociraptors in real life, but everything is there to feed them. They are succubuses, vampires. Everything is there, and then everything's disposable. My father was the same way. Literally took my mother, put her in a cold storage, which you guys can check out. I did a 2-part interview with the judge for my father's trial. It's in my personal true crime story here on this channel. I talked a lot about that with him, and I discovered that my mother was stored in a freezer with meat until he could properly bury her body underneath his house. Really cold-blooded stuff that, again, from Harmony's mother's standpoint of, she hopes that he sees Harmony's face every night before he goes to bed and really relishes in the fact that he took her life, and feels the guilt and the shame and has trouble sleeping at night, can't live with himself. That's just not true because he doesn't care. This is somebody who's so cold-blooded that, again, everything is expendable to them. Montgomery's estranged wife, Kayla, stepmother to Harmony, said at one point the body was kept in a tote bag from a hospital maternity ward, according to that report. And Kayla, who was reported to have been there at the time of the murder, said that she placed the tote bag between her own young children in a stroller and brought it to her husband's workplace. Investigators had alleged that Montgomery finally disposed of Harmony's body in 2020 with a rented moving truck. And by the way, Montgomery's estranged wife Kayla is also serving time, 18 months for perjury. So she is appropriately incarcerated. I might have to share some of these photographs because they're really touching. There we go. And all these living ads here. It's very annoying. Oh, did it not work? Oh, of course it didn't. But look how adorable she is. Of course, absolutely not deserving of the fate which was handed to her. I mean, I don't know what this guy is facing in terms of charges, but it is hopefully going to be a lot thrown away. Lock and key. just wild. Ian Zev says you'd be shocked at how many criminal defendants make full confessions, not realizing all jail cells are recorded. Interesting to know. I don't have any trouble believing that, actually, because yeah. Yeah, and he is evil, says Dom's mom. He said it was because he knows exactly where she is, and she wasn't. Yeah, he's just terrible. He'll continue to blame Kayla and law enforcement and everyone else. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't care how high you are, says Dom's mom. I am 5.5 years clean and sober. Congratulations on that, by the way. I haven't drank alcohol since November 5th of 2020. So congratulations. Look at us. Look at us leading the clean life. And says I'm 5.5 years clean and sober, so I'm aware of the fog being active in addiction brings. Even with that, though, can't fathom justifying any of that. Absolutely, Dom's mom. Yeah, it takes a special type of person. And I often question, like in the Murdaugh trial too, if there was a substance abuse issue and that really led to what caused the murder, etc. Sober Squad here too. That sounds like a great podcast name. Sober Squad. Look at all of us. What do we do with our time? What do we do with our time? It's almost as bad as Chris Watts having his precious daughters literally sitting with their feet on top of their dead mother while he drove them to their demise. Yeah, Chris Watts. Again, this is the mentality. My father, Chris Watts, Adam Montgomery. To a certain point, obviously Alec Murdaugh, same thing, right? Just cold-blooded, callous behavior, not caring about who your victims are. I know there's a lot of people that are, that are very convinced about, are very torn about Alex Murdaugh's guilt in his conviction of his murder trial. However, you can see that same behavior on the way that he literally sucked the blood and the life out of his victims of his financial scams, which caused so much devastation to so many people because these were victims of very, very serious accidents and personal injury cases where they really needed the money. Some of them even in requiring care and palliative care. So to have that money stripped from them, obviously they've had that money. They've been able to successfully attain that money. However, it's just the nature of how he behaved. So I would put all these people in the same category, right? No feeling, no emotion, no empathy, right? Not wanting to, they're pawns in their game. And someone always has to pay the price. And now, after Harmony paid the ultimate price and her family has paid the price, now Adam will be locked away forever and ever. But I don't know if that really matters. I think that's the thing, is people who are this evil will often find a way to survive and thrive almost in an incarceration situation. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up doing that. Look at Chris Watts. Chris Watts having a new life. I believe he's newly engaged or something. I mean, you see this all the time. It makes you really think about the justice system and how it works. And obviously this is justice, but again, this almost falls on deaf ears in somebody who's a psychopath like this. It doesn't matter to them whether they stay in prison for the rest of their life or not. They'll just adapt to that because they're just bottom feeders. It's rough. I try to add this perspective for you guys because I think, I think about this a lot when I see these cases and how people can just move on with their lives. And he just does. I hope and pray that the family of Harmony Montgomery can move on. Her foster mother, her birth mother, everyone that cared and loved for this little girl, everyone who was torn apart when this little girl went missing, and to watch this whole thing played out. It's been 5 years. It's 2024. This was 2019 when this happened. 5 years. It's really tragic. But yeah, that's my takeaway on that. I want to say thank you to all my Patreon members, all my channel members, all my supporters. Thank you so much. You guys make this program possible. Thank you to all of my channel subscribers. You guys make this possible. Please, if you wouldn't mind, hit that like button on the way out. I greatly appreciate it. Please check out more of our content as well. And Mover Nation, we will be back very soon. And if you are a channel member, again, live meet and greet this Sunday, February 25th. Please come join us. It'll be a lot of fun. And if you are not a part of our Discord, please join the Discord. The link is in the notes here that are coming right now from me. This is the link to the Discord server. If you are a YouTube member, you can link your account to your Discord account when you join. And then if you are an actual paid channel member, you will get the extra perks that are available on the Discord server. If you're not a channel member, you'll just join the general channel. And but we all get to interact, give you live updates on this channel, new content that's coming out. I'm very excited. We're going to be going full steam ahead, doing my AV club here in March. You guys can join me. We're going to watch my documentary first. It'll be great. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to do all through my Discord channel. Mover Nation, we get through another one. On that note, I'm Collier Landry. I'll see you on the next one.
This podcast is made possible by support from listeners just like you. For exclusive content around this podcast, please consider supporting me via Patreon by going to collierlandry.com/support. Please subscribe via Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from, and please leave us a 5-star review. If you want to see video episodes of this podcast, please check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/collierlandry. You can find links to additional resources in the show notes of today's episode. This podcast is a production of Don't Touch My Radio. Copyright Collier Landry.